welcome everyone. Thank you for attending this episode of one of our Wednesdays weeklies. So this is your bite-sized briefing webinar in collaboration with Action Together, the voluntary sector and the public sector. Today we're joined by Agatha project lead for Agatha's space at SAWN, and she's going to be providing us with some information around HIV awareness. So I'll hand it over to you, Agatha.
Thank you so much. And yeah, like she said, my name is Agatha. I'm an HIV project lead at SAWN and also a comms person. Now, we have heard a lot about HIV. Probably some of us since we were born, we've heard about HIV, but really we don't know much about how deep or how science, medicine has really improved and how people living with HIV are now living a healthy and how people living with HIV when they are on HIV medication are not transmitting the virus. So this information is not really out there because HIV is a very, very stigma topic, and it's a very, very it has so many stigma around it. So a lot of people really don't want to associate themselves with the HIV messages. So with Action Together, we've joined hands to raise awareness about HIV so people know and know how to prevent it. So welcome, and if you do have any questions, there's a question and answer session at the very end of the session, so you'll be able to ask any questions. So a lot of people do wonder what is HIV, and they do also confuse the HIV and the AIDS. So HIV is a human immunodeficiency virus that damages the cells of your immune system, and it weakens the ability to fight infections and diseases. So when you have HIV in your system, you any infection you're gonna get, you cannot fight it because the virus is damaging your immune system. So that is HIV. Now it goes to what is AIDS then, if HIV is that. So AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome and is a name that describes a number of potentially life-threatening infections and illnesses that happens when your immune system has been severely damaged by the HIV. So literally what that means is this virus, HIV, when it has overstayed in your immune system, damage everything, you start you start suffering from so many medical conditions. Some people do have some Kaposi sarcoma, which is a rare form of cancer that's all over your skin. There are so many life-threatening medical conditions that does happen, that some people do end up really in hospital, in a coma, when HIV has really damaged their immune system. So that when HIV has been left untreated, it turns into AIDS. So I hope that makes sense. Let me have another slide, please. So what is the difference between HIV and AIDS? Like I've said, HIV is a virus that causes AIDS. And HIV is mainly transmitted through sex, and it can be linked to many activities like needles, breastfeeding, blood transfusions. And I do know people that got it really through blood transfusion, and I have people that got it from rescuing people from drugs. They literally just went in the street working with organizations to help people on drugs. And as they were taking off the needle, it injected them and they got it straight away. They had no idea the person was HIV positive. So, and this goes really to the opposite of what people think of, oh, you can only get HIV through sex only. No, it's many ways, many ways. Another slide, please. So what are the symptoms of HIV? Now, the early symptoms of HIV infection, also known as the acute HIV, can be like the flu, literally, and also the viral illnesses. And this can include fever, muscle ache, headache, sore throats, night sweats, mouth sores, including yeast infection, and also swollen lymph glands, diarrhea, cough, and rashes. So I'm not saying if you have all these infections, it means you're HIV positive. No. Some people do have them and they're really going through a different thing. And some people do have them when it's just a flu, it's just a fever. And it doesn't mean you should be like, oh my God, but it is very safe to go and get tested if you do have these symptoms. Another slide, please. So HIV testing, where can you get HIV tested, especially here in the UK? So the only way to find out if you're HIV positive with all the symptoms that I have said, the only way to find out is to go for a test, as symptoms of HIV may not appear for many, many years. So you might contract HIV a few years ago, and you might not know, and then the symptoms might come later on in life. So everyone who thinks they could be HIV positive, it is very, very important to go and get tested. I know the GPs these days, especially here in the UK, they say if you have so many symptoms, like HIV has got so many symptoms, and you go to the GP, they tell you, okay, because you only have 10 minutes, just tell us one symptom that's bothering you. And you end up just mentioning coughs, you only mentioning sweat, you only mention one of the symptoms. They will treat that symptom, but then the rest of the symptoms will still be there. And then you go back, you mention another symptom, and then the other symptoms will still be there. So it is important to ask your GP, say, okay, I think I might have HIV. Is it okay if I have an HIV test? The GP might not decide it himself or herself because GPs do not test HIV. It depends on which GP. It, it's a personal decision GPs make, but it's not that they will straight away decide for you to have an HIV test. No. So it's very important, if you think you have HIV, ask your GP, or if you think those symptoms could be HIV symptoms, ask your GP to test you. So HIV testing is provided to anyone for free, really, on NHS, and many clinics can give the results same day. And home testing also is available. We have BHA, Black Health Agency. They do test, and they also send some samples to test for yourself at home, and you can send them the results, and everything is literally free. So there's no need to think, oh, if I go to an HIV clinic, everyone is going to see me, because that's what people are scared of these days. Or somebody's going to see me going in the clinic, or I'll meet someone that I know. You're safe. You can order them online, and they can be delivered to your address, and you can test. So there are also some people that are high risk of becoming HIV infected, and these are people with low immunity. So if you know you have a low immune system, it is very important to go and get tested if you think you might be in touch with someone who could be HIV positive, or you've got no idea if that person is HIV positive or not. So if your immune system is very low, you could be at risk, and it's important to go and get tested. Another slide, please. So HIV treatment. If you go for a test and they find you to be HIV positive, you will have regular blood tests to monitor the progress of the virus in your body. And you will have two important blood tests before they start you on your medication. This is just to make sure that they know all they need to know before starting your medication, and also to help them to decide which medication to put you on. So the first blood test you're going to have after they find out that you have HIV is a viral test. And this is a blood test that monitors the HIV, the amount of HIV in your blood. So every one of us has got different amount of the levels of the viral load in our system. So they will make sure they know the amount of your viral load in your system before they start giving you treatment. But also they'll do a CD4 count blood test, which measures how the virus has affected your immune system. So if it has really damaged your immune system, this will help the doctor to decide which medication to put you on. So you have these two major blood tests before they start you on treatment, and you'll be put on antiretroviral therapy. These are called ARTs, and this is a combination of HIV medicine. So you take these every single day at the same time. So for those of us who come from countries where English is not our first language, this really is a very crucial part to understand, because sometimes the doctor might tell you take any time you want. Now, I support African women living with HIV. We do normally have these challenges. When they're coming to me, sometimes they complain about, oh, I have shoulder pains. I have every morning I wake up, I feel like I want to throw up. I've got my legs are heavy. I feel like they're getting swollen. And the first thing I do ask is, what time do you take your medication? And most of the times, the answers I get is anytime. Why? Because my doctor told me I can take my medication anytime. I'm like, oh, okay. To me, it does make sense because if I didn't understand English, if I didn't have the experience of what I know about HIV, if somebody tells me take any time, definitely I'll take any time. But what the doctor is trying to tell you is decide a time of the day to take this medicine. So it means that medicine they're giving you, you can take any time. There's some specific medicine the doctor will tell you, okay, take in the morning with your first meal. But there's some medicines they tell you take any time. So when they say take any time, they mean you choose time of the day. Let's say 8 p.m. after having your meal, your evening meal. It means you will be committed to take that medication every 8 p.m. every day. You have to take that medicine. So don't don't change the times just because the doctor said anytime. Anytime is your time that you choose. Some people they come to me, oh, I was taking in the morning. Today I took 8 o'clock. Yesterday I took 7 o'clock. The other day I took 9 a.m. I'm like, no, this is why you're having issues in your body. You have to take that time only every single day because it helps the virus to go to sleep. I'm going to talk about that in the next slide. So yeah, next slide, please. Mm, I think we've skipped one. Is it the U equals U? I think treatment prep. Okay. Yes. So let's do the U equals U. I'm sure some of you on social media you have seen U equals U online on TV. You have seen equals U. Now, what is U equals U? The first U stands for undetectable. Now, when you're taking HIV treatment, you become untransmittable. After taking for some time, transmittable. I normally give an example of when you're sleeping, or I'm talking about undetectable. When you are sleeping, when you're in your own bed, people in the shop cannot see you. People at your workplace cannot see you. Anywhere else, people cannot see you. The only place you are is in your bed. So outside there, you are undetectable, but you're just in your bed. So when HIV is sleeping in the system, it is undetectable because the medicine has suppressed it to go to sleep. So it is undetectable. Now, because it is undetectable, it is untransmittable. Yeah. So the first U is for undetectable HIV, and the next U is for untransmittable HIV. Undetectable is equal to untransmittable. If you take your HIV medication according to the doctor's instructions, your virus within weeks is going to sleep, is going to be suppressed by the medicine, and you're going to become undetectable. When you're undetectable, you are untransmittable. And this is just a concept that refers to people with HIV who are unable to transmit the virus through sex. So you can really have a child, a healthy child with no HIV if you're undetectable. And I've had questions, people asking me, oh, so can you, if you are helping someone, like someone who works at the gym, she was asking me, if I help someone who is HIV positive and their blood comes in touch with my blood, can I not get it? They are untransmittable. You cannot get it. So that is how far HIV medication has gone. You can help someone, like some people, they double glove when helping someone living with HIV on medication. And there's no need, if somebody's undetectable, there's no need to wear gloves. Treat them like any other person that is going through any other medical condition because they cannot transmit that virus to you. Yeah. So this also is also known as the HIV prevention treatment. So there is also PrEP and PEP. So PrEP is when, for example, you have been sexually abused and you're not sure this person if they're HIV positive or not, or you were having fun somewhere and then it happened, you had sex, you slept with someone, and you've got no idea if this person is HIV positive or not. There is what we call PrEP. And this medicine, it helps you to prevent the infection from coming really going through your blood system. So you go to any and tell them, look, I've just had sex and I'm not sure if this person is safe. I don't know their HIV status, so I think I need PrEP. They'll give you PrEP, you're going to start taking it, and you are going to prevent the virus from really penetrating into your system. And we also have PEP. This is when you are going to have it now, when you're going to have sex. You're going for a date, for a sleepover, and you've got no idea if it's going to happen or not, but it's good to be safe. So you can also prevent it by taking PEP. You go to your local NE and tell them, look, I'm going to have fun and I need PrEP, I need PEP. They'll give you this medicine and you're going to take it before you go, and you're going to prevent the virus from going through your body if the person is HIV positive. Now, all these are found at your local NE and they're actually for free. You don't need to pay anything. So it's really important to stay safe because everything that you need is there. And with PrEP and PEP, you can see we can really end the new HIV transmissions because there's condoms, there's PrEP, there's PEP. All these, they prevent the virus from coming inside your body, from coming inside your system. So there's possibility of really ending the new HIV transmissions with all this. So it is your responsibility to check yourself where you're at, to see if you need PrEP, to see if you need PEP, to see if you need condoms, so we can end the new HIV transmissions together. Because if you don't have it, or if you have it and you're on medication, you are untransmittable and you are undetectable. Simple. Next slide, please. So if there's undetectable, untransmittable, and then there's PrEP, and then there's PEP, and then there's condoms, there's all these preventions. And there's really scientific evidence that people living with HIV, when they're on medication, they cannot transmit. Why stigma then? Because stigma is a massive issue. And it is because of stigma that is why new HIV transmissions are still coming in. And because people are lacking knowledge. Once you know what you're dealing with, for example, COVID-19, we saw how COVID-19 came in. You cough, everyone is out of the room. Really, even on Zoom, those of us who were on Zoom those days, you cough on Zoom, you just have these anxieties that, oh my God, did they transmit it to me? But it's because of the knowledge that they gave us. NHS was everywhere teaching us about COVID-19. We became aware, we normalized conversations about COVID-19. And by now, if I cough now, nobody's going to freak out. Everyone is just going to look at me like, oh, she'll be fine. Normalizing conversations about something, it helps to prevent, it helps to stop the stigma. So lack of knowledge about HIV is the one making people still have stigma up to now. And this is why I come in now to teach about HIV. So we try and reduce HIV stigma. And also moral judgments. People think if you have HIV, you've been sleeping around. That is not true, really. Like I've said before, you can get it through sex, yes. But then when you talk about sex, it's not necessarily sleeping around. Some people got it from their partners who were unfaithful. They went somewhere and have fun, forgetting about somebody who is safe at home. And when they came back, they transmitted the virus to the person that was home. And there you go. This person had nothing to do, and some people got it from being raped, like it wasn't a choice that they made. And people got it from rescuing people from drugs and got injected with needles. Some people, especially in developing countries where they do blood transfusion without really knowing, testing the person if they're HIV positive, they end up transmitting the HIV positive blood to someone who is not HIV positive, and they end up getting it. So it's really many things, and stopping to stereotype people that are living with HIV, it will help us to understand how HIV is contracted, and it will help us to end HIV stigma and end new HIV transmissions. But also fear. People are scared to even be in touch with someone who is living with HIV. I cannot touch your plate. I cannot touch this. You need to leave my house. You cannot be in my house anymore because you're going to transmit it. But how are you going to know about HIV if you are sending everyone away, if you don't have that knowledge? So fear is also helping HIV stigma. We need to open up to conversations about HIV, not to be scared. We need to understand what HIV really is. Also, the history of HIV drugs. So back in the day when HIV was new, most of you who were there back in the day, you're going to remember when people took HIV medication, they were dying straight away. And it is because the drugs were so strong than a human body. So when people took the drugs, they were dying. Then science came in, research came in, they found out that this medicine is really, really strong. So we need to make it easier for the human body. So the HIV drugs now started changing. Now people are taking one pill a day. Just that one pill saves life. That one pill is a combination of many, many medicines. They just made it into one pill. So it's easier for a human body. Back in the day, they were taking loads and loads of pills, but everything now with the research, science, it has been improved. People are taking one pill or two pills a day, and that's it. So HIV drugs really made it helped the HIV stigma to be high because people know the HIV of back in the day. People don't know this information that we are sharing now. So because of that, people think, if you're on HIV medication, then definitely you're going to die. No, things have changed. HIV medication has really improved. But there are also laws and policies creating or reinforcing HIV stigma. In 2024, we are talking about untransmittable HIV, and people are still unable to travel to some countries. People living with HIV cannot go to some countries in the world because they are living with HIV. Yes, they cannot transmit, don't get me wrong, they cannot transmit, but they cannot go to some countries because their countries do not allow HIV positive people to travel to. There are also some insurance companies who don't accept, for example, they buy a house. I've got people living with HIV who have managed to buy houses, but their houses have not been insured because the insurance companies are saying, no, because you're living with HIV, we cannot insure your house. Now, this goes back to the history of HIV medication as well, because when people were taking HIV medication, like I've said, they were dying back in the day. The medicine was so strong, but now things have changed. But these insurance companies now, they think, oh, they're on HIV medication, they will die anytime after buying the house. They will die. So we're not going to insure their homes. So it's really important to be aware, also to be updated really about the latest information about HIV drugs to our insurance companies, but also to other countries to accept people living with HIV that are undetectable. They cannot transmit. So really, there's no need. Another slide, please. So HIV language. This is really, really important. And this doesn't really get talked about out there. And there are some languages that you can use to talk to people living with HIV. And when addressing people living with HIV, it's recommended to use person first language that puts the person first before their medical condition. So this language recognizes that people are more important than their health condition and they are people first. So, for example, instead of saying HIV positive people, it is very common. You hear people say, oh, yeah, HIV positive people. This puts the person's medical condition first, but it's supposed to be the other way around. It is a person first and then the medical condition later on. So you can say people living with HIV. That is the right word to say. Also, spelling the phrases like people, PL, HIV, this really is, sorry for that. This also, it feels like people are being labeled. So instead of labeling people, it is important to just say people living with HIV. Don't label them. Thank you. Another slide. So you should not also label people as HIV infected or infected people or co-infected or refer them as cases or carriers or victims or patients or sufferers. You can hear them, how they are sounding is so wrong. Personally, I cannot do it to anyone, even on any medical condition. I cannot call them sufferers. I cannot call them victims because they are not victims. And this goes to every medical condition. If you are going through a certain medical condition and you don't want people to call you that name, do not call it to others as well, because it's the same. It sounds the same. And do not address people living with HIV as sufferers, like I've already said, because this disempowers people. When someone tells you that they're living with HIV and your first reaction is, oh, I'm sorry, this might sound okay to others, but it also makes other people feel like they have done something wrong. So really, when you're telling someone, oh, I'm sorry, it's like they've really committed some crime and you're really sympathizing with them. So instead of saying, I'm sorry, you offer them hope. You'll be fine, you'll be great. And also offer them gratitude, because they are going through a lot in this, they are going through a lot and they just need to be told, you'll be well. Give them hope, give them support, emotional support. This would be really appreciated than I am sorry. So you also don't ask people living with HIV where they got the virus from, because most people don't know where the virus came from. Not because they were sleeping around, but because really they don't know, because the virus stays for a long time in the system. It could be their past partners, it could be when they were helping someone, it could be something else which they don't know of. And a lot of these people, they're going through their life every day thinking of, where did I get this from? And if you remind them, you ask them that question, it is a trigger, because they're fighting. And you come in, you also ask them, where did you get it from? And they're like, oh my God, yeah, true. Where did I get it from? So it's important. And also because HIV does not leave evidence. So the person who transmitted to them didn't leave evidence that I've transmitted the virus to you. So they might not know. At some point, I went to an event where I said HIV is not like you go in a shop and buy and you have receipts where you can produce and I got it from Tesco, I got it from Asda. No. So a lot of people do not know. So it's very, very important to be mindful and not to ask where they got it from, unless they voluntarily tell you. That is a different story. And this is important, the last one, to medical professionals. If a patient tells you they're living with HIV, what they mean is, please, the medicine that you're going to prescribe to me, make sure it does not interact with my HIV medication. Simple. That's what they mean. So it's not up to you to ask them, oh, where did you get it from? Where, no, they're not even showing off. They just want to be safe with the medication you're going to prescribe to them. Because in some places like A&E, when they pull out your medical history, it doesn't have the HIV information. So this patient is just telling you, because you do not have my medical information, my HIV medical information, I am telling you I'm living with HIV and I'm on this medication. Do not give me the medication that interacts with my HIV medication. Simple. And as a professional, it's not up to you to ask where you got it from. That has got nothing to do with the medicine you're going to give them. Another slide, please. So yeah, we have come to the end of the session. So if you do have the questions, and I do have the answers for you. So if you have questions that have really been stressing you about as I was talking, you're okay to answer and to ask, and I'll give you the answers. So also thank you so much to Action Together for hosting us on your page and for supporting us at SAWN, funding us all the time. And if you do have any questions that you were unable to ask, I have my contact details there. The emails will come direct to me and I'll answer you. And if you want us to come to your space to offer these sessions, because we've got more and more. So if you want us to come to your space, we're available. I can come and offer the sessions to you. We do come as well with people living with HIV to share their stories, so you can hear more, you can see them, and you ask really what is bothering you. So contact us and we are going to offer these sessions to you. Thank you so much for watching us, and thank you so much for spending your time with us. We appreciate you. Thank you.